Another very important part of our discussion on the vowels relates to what we typically call half vowels. Sometimes they're also referred to as composite or compound vowels. This is another class of the vowels, not in terms of A, E, I, O, U, but in terms of utilization that will become apparent as we walk through them here in this particular lesson. These half vowels serve to move the sound of the word from the preceding syllable to the latter of the syllables. And I'll give you an example as we learn the first of the half vowels. This is the simple schwa. Simple schwa is two dots stacked one on top of each other immediately below the consonant. The simple schwa has the sound of An example that's very helpful in understanding how this works is the English word behind. If I were to say to you, I parked my car behind my truck, you'll notice that I did not say I parked my car behind my truck. In other words, the E sound here has more of an sound. Thus, it serves to move the emphasis or the accent from the earlier syllable to the latter syllable. What this does is it's just a transference and movement of the sound into the latter parts of the word. So the simple schwa, sometimes written as an E with a line underneath it, serves to give us that forward movement. And the sound again is Now while we call that the simple schwa, there is another way, another whole part of the whole composite half vowels that works when you add to that vowels that we already know. And the first of those would be if you take the patach vowel, add it to the schwa. This is known as the chatif patach. And this then serves to indicate that the patach sound is very, very rapid, moving from the first syllable or the syllable to a latter syllable. So again, that's why we call these half vowels, chatif patach. And this is going to be the typical A-class vowel, but it's going to be very, very short and moving the sound from one to the next. So it's going to be a simple but short sound moving on in the pronunciation of the word. Chatif patach. Patach coupled with the simple schwa. That's why it's called a composite or compound vowel. Second of those is where we take the sagol. You already know the sagol. This is going to be the E-class vowel. It's going to have the S sound. But when coupled with the schwa, it becomes the chatif sagol. So then you will have a very short, rapid pronunciation of the E sound that moves the word pronunciation-wise to the next syllable. A good example of that would be Elohim, the word for God, one of the words for God in the Hebrew Bible, a word that you already know. The first vowel in that word is this vowel, Elohim. So it's a rapid pronunciation of that first E-class sound, like we talked about earlier in bed or head or whatever it might be. But again, about half the type of vocalization that you might have with the regular sagol. Then you have a chatif kametz. This is also an O-class vowel. And what we're going to look for here is a rapid pronunciation of that aw sound that we've talked about before, like the OU or the AW sound. It sometimes may come off sounding a little bit more like the typical O, and for our purposes, if that's the way that you end up pronouncing it, we're not going to be worried about that. But this is the chatif kametz O-class vowel. It's the composite vowel because it has the schwa and the kametz together, therefore known as the half vowel, composite vowel, compound vowel. This gives you a quick overview of how the half vowels work, the composite vowels. Sometimes we refer to them again as compound vowels. Hope this helps, and we'll look forward to the next class where we'll continue our study of the Hebrew language of the Hebrew Bible. Blessings.